What's going on YouTube world? Austin Zaback here with another YouTube video, and in today's video I got a very special video for you, okay? If you have any interest in real estate at all, okay, if you ever thought about getting into real estate, you're gonna wanna watch today's video, okay? So I'm gonna be talking about what is wholesaling, okay? People have been asking me forever and ever and ever, what is wholesaling? And I feel like I've made a lot of videos on this back in the day, and I've kind of broken down the art of, essentially wholesaling real estate, okay? AKA, and you hear all the gurus talk about it, okay? But I promise you, stay to the end of the video. I'm just gonna drop value, okay? I'm just gonna drop value and bombs on you. But you see a lot of gurus probably on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube talking about getting into real estate with no money down, no credit, no experience, stuff like that, okay? So that is what we're gonna be talking about today. Wholesaling kind of gets a bad rep sometimes. People look at the industry and they're like, I hate wholesalers, right? Or I don't like the idea of wholesaling, or whatever the case is, or wholesaling is illegal, or you can't actually get into real estate with no money down, okay? But I'm just gonna break it down for you so you can understand, and then you can ultimately make a decision of whether or not, this might be for you, okay? So if you haven't already, I would really appreciate it if you just take a quick moment, okay, and smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm, as it really does help me out a ton. So what is wholesaling? Why would you want to get into it? What in the world? I'm just gonna break it down, okay? So essentially wholesaling is this. Now follow along. Wholesaling is the art of flipping a contract. So you're never actually purchasing the real estate, okay? When you're wholesaling, you never own the real estate, okay? So just to keep it very simple and kind of break it down for you. Now, you're like, Austin,
how in the world can you get into the real estate industry without ever owning real estate?
And there are other ways that you can do it, such as like crowdfunding real estate and things like that, like online platforms like Fundrise and all those different platforms and whatever, right? You technically, you own a piece of the real estate, but you don't own the entire real estate, right? So there are other ways to do it, but for today's video, we're just gonna be talking about wholesaling, and wholesaling is essentially where you go to the seller and you get a property under contract below market value, okay, because they're distressed, right? And I'll tell you why they might be distressed in a minute, but you get the property under contract. So you're the buyer at this particular point in time, okay? You're getting a property under contract with the seller below market value. You're turning around and you're taking that contract during what they call the inspection period or the due diligence period, and you're selling or assigning the right, that contract, right? Your right to buy it, because you have a right to buy the contract, right? You're technically, at that point in time, you're the buyer, okay? You're assigning or reselling or flipping that contract to the actual buyer, the cash buyer, or hard or private money, okay? And that buyer is gonna be like the rehabber, the fix and flipper, the landlord, whatever. They're gonna be the actual buyer. And you're just assigning it or selling or flipping that contract to the buyer for a $5,000 to maybe $10,000, let's call it a finder's fee, AKA an assignment fee, AKA how a wholesaler actually gets paid. So to keep it very, very, very simple, okay, wholesaling real estate, you're a marketing person, right? Your day-to-day essentially is finding sellers that are in a distressed situation that might sell their house at a discount, right? And you're taking that scenario and you're essentially delivering it to a buyer on a silver platter. You're saying, hey, Mr. or Mrs. Buyer, I know you're flipping a bunch of real estate, you're on HGTV, you're doing the dang thing, right? You're flip or flop, you're love it or list it, whatever. You're a landlord, you have a bunch of rental properties, you have a big portfolio, and I know you're incredibly busy and maybe finding deals is a little bit difficult. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna deliver you deals on a silver platter, and you're gonna pay me a small finder's fee, right? In a nutshell, that is all wholesaling is. Now people overcomplicate it and they're like, Austin, it's illegal, you gotta have your real estate license, you gotta this, you gotta that, whatever, right? I'm gonna debunk everything right now. Now I'm not saying that wholesaling is for everybody, right? It certainly isn't for everybody, and there's a lot of different reasons why you would and wouldn't wholesale real estate. But let's just go ahead and kind of dive into that a little bit. And guys, again, stay to the end of the video. If you have any interest in real estate, I'm going to try to break it all down for you. I've been in the real estate industry for about 7 years now. I'm a real estate agent. I am an active wholesaler. I'm an active fix and flipper, and I'm also an active landlord. I buy and hold rental properties. We're also looking into creating a fund right now where we actually have a hard or private money fund where we lend money to other flippers. And there's several other things that we kind of do inside of the real estate industry. So I do have a little bit of real estate knowledge, and I'm actively growing that knowledge base on a day-to-day basis. But you're like, Austin, why in the world would I wholesale, okay? Look, wholesaling is great for cash flow. Passive income, residual income, wholesaling is probably not your answer, right? Because wholesaling is like a high-paying job. Like I said, you're a marketing guy, right? You gotta find sellers every single day that want to sell or need to sell their property at a discount. Now, you're like,
Austin, why would a seller need to sell their property at a discount?
Well, a couple of different reasons are maybe they inherited the property, aka it is a probate property. They don't want anything to do with the property, right? They inherited it. Maybe they're getting a divorce, right? You see people that get a divorce all the time that just want to sell their property at a discount. Maybe they have a tax default, which means they've defaulted on their taxes, okay? So they haven't been paying their taxes, they're behind on them, and now, they owe a bunch of money in back taxes and they just need to sell. Another really good reason is a pre-foreclosure or a regular foreclosure. Okay, pre-foreclosure just means that it hasn't gone to foreclosure yet, but it is going to go to auction, right? They essentially are losing their house because they can't afford to make their payment, okay? Maybe they lost their job. Maybe they're relocating, who knows? But for whatever reason, the house is going to foreclosure, right? And it's going to get auctioned off, right? They're going to sell it either way. So, you coming in and giving them cash, as long as it's slightly above, where their mortgage is at, so they can afford to pay off their mortgage, then that's a heck of a lot better than it just going to the auction. So there's all these different reasons why a seller would sell at a discount, right? Maybe the property needs a lot of work. Maybe, it's a disgruntled landlord. Maybe there was tenants living there for a decade and they destroyed the place and the landlord doesn't want to fix it up. They don't want anything, they essentially don't want anything to do with it, okay? So there's all of these different reasons that a seller would sell at a discount. You find the comparable properties in that area, you figure out what they're worth, right? What are they worth? When it's all fixed up and done, when it's all nice and pretty and you've got the whites and the grays like everybody wants to see right now, okay, on all the TV shows, what would my property be worth when it looked like that, right? That is what they call the ARV, the after repaired value or the after rehabbed value. Let's just say the ARV's $300,000. I need to get the property under contract for anywhere, depending on your market, okay, I'm just rough numbers here, 50 to 70% of the ARV. Again, depending on the amount of work it needs and stuff like that, right? In order to sell that contract, flip it, assign it to the end buyer, right? The flipper, whatever the case is, if I want to wholesale the property, right? So look, at the end of the day, it can be a phenomenal way to get into real estate. At a $300,000 property, I go pick it up for, let's call it 50 cents in the dollar for the purpose of the video, $150,000, right? I turn around, I sell it to the rehabber for $160,000. I make 10. The rehabber goes in, they put $50,000 into it, and they still make a profit. So it can be a very lucrative business. Now, I'm not sure why the business gets so much, of a bad rep, okay? There's a couple of different reasons why. Number one, the wholesalers in today's market all around the country are making too much money, plain and simple, right? Per deal, right? Now, I'm all about doing 50, 100 deals a month, whatever the case is. But wholesalers are essentially taking all the meat off of the bone, so the end buyer, there's no spread left at the end of the day, right? There's no money for the end buyer to actually make, okay? That's a pretty big problem. That'll give wholesalers a bad rep over time. So if you want to get into the wholesaling world of real estate, don't take all the dang meat off the bone. Make $5,000 and call it a day, okay? Make $10,000 on a really big deal and call it a day, right? The seller's happy, it's a win for them. The buyer's happy, it's a win for them, and you're happy you made $5,000 or $10,000. But I see all these wholesalers that are making 15, 20, 30, 40, 50 grand. Okay, look, you don't need to make that much money as a wholesaler. Just do more deals, okay? So, but look, wholesaling is a phenomenal industry. If you want to get into real estate, you really don't know a lot about real estate, you don't have a lot of money to spend, look, there's a couple of phenomenal ways to go out there and find distressed sellers, okay? I'll put a couple of links in the description below of a couple of the platforms and softwares that I personally use every day when I wholesale real estate, okay? And we're doing on average anywhere from probably 20 to 25 deals a month right now, wholesaling. Now, we're doing fix and flips, we're buying and holding. I'm an active real estate agent. I've got some active real estate agents on my team. We represent buyers and sellers. There's all these different hats that we essentially wear. But wholesaling can be a great way if you're brand new, right? You want to get into the world of real estate. You want to learn the terminology of real estate, right? You want to learn about real estate, but you don't have a lot of money. You don't have very good credit. Maybe you don't have a lot of experience. So I think wholesaling is a phenomenal way to start, right? But it's up to you at the end of the day. In the description down below, I've got a couple of links. Definitely go check those out. There's a free trial, I think, on both of the real estate links that I typically use. So let me know if this was a helpful video kind of explaining wholesaling in a nutshell. Get in your car and go knock on the door, right? Hey, your weeds are 9 foot tall, okay? Your weeds are 9 foot tall. Your house is on fire. I'd love to buy your property. I'm a cash buyer, right? See if they'll sell it to you, okay? That's just as good of a way as picking up the phone. That's just as good of a way as sending them a text message. It really doesn't matter how you do it, okay? The more creative, obviously, the better, maybe in the long run, because you can talk to more people in a day, okay? But at the end of the day, don't let anybody try and trick you into thinking there's only this way to do it or only that way to do it. Look, there's a lot of ways to do it, okay? A lot of ways to find a seller that might be interested in selling at a discount, right? There's a lot of ways to target people like that, and you just never know, right? There's people all over the world that they just want to sell, they want to move on, whatever. Maybe they're relocating. There's so many different reasons they would sell below market value, okay? That is wholesaling in a nutshell. I know this was a total rant. I feel like I'm Meet Kevin right now, okay? Meet Kevin's a great guy, by the way. I love you, Meet Kevin. If you're watching the video, I love you. You're a freaking awesome dude on the platform of YouTube, obviously. But guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Drop into the comments section below if you have any questions on wholesaling real estate. If you have any questions on any other form of real estate, definitely let me know. I would love to make a video on it. If you haven't already, I would really appreciate it if you just take just a moment and just smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm. I would appreciate it, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.